Hi, this is Tormod, and I would like to invite you to join me with diving into the dimension of schizophrenia as we look into some dimensions of this and how to, you might say, stand up within this illness of mind, how to stand up as self and empower and learn to understand and handle such a illness. Schizophrenia is basically when you have two or three personalities that are actively having a war inside the mind against one another. Basically, there are two or three personalities having a war against each other in the mind. Now, this programming and detailed, you might say, instruction is locked and stuck in the programming of mind before one is born. And you might say that there are some existential, dimensional changes that would lead one's parents into the creation of the schizophrenic child, me, for instance. That being said, schizophrenia is also when you give these multiple personalities that are having a war, you give them their own minds, more or less. They are given their own mind units, you might say. As I would project out of myself a mind unit from my own mind and just split it into another mind and create a new mind from this projection from within my being. I would project out a new version of me that I would sort of play on energetically with polarities and so on, feelings and emotions, and create this love, hate, fear, whatever energetic relationship with this other personality, with a separate mind unit, with a separate mind platform, personality platform, a separate being who is still me. And I could have 2 or 3 of these, or many more perhaps, because I can have 3 or 4 mind units that function, operate as mind units, as a split of my own mind. And from this split, there can operate several, dozens of personalities within these different mind units. And then these personalities play on each other or have a war on each other, creating lots of confusion, blabbering speech, conspiracies, you betcha, and fear, paranoia, voice in the head, all this friction and splitting and fragmenting and reactions and paranoia going on in the mind, from the mind splitting itself. It is a very, scary experience. It is very serious and deep and scary experience to experience that one is split, one loses control of one's own mind, more you could say. One loses the ability to handle one's own mind and the programs of mind are running amok, you might say. So, when a person is schizophrenic, he or she would live a universe of personalities and different consciousness, screens you might call it, pictures of movie in the mind, movies in the mind, Matrix, bang bang, explosions going on, energies, all these things that mind uses to drain the body from energies and to literally keep self indulged and occupied and addicted to energies, to movies, to positive, negative energies, all sorts of emotions, pity, fear, anxiety, nervousness, worry, depression, joy, desires, where the mind would be occupied and self would be very lost, very scared, very lonely, literally just hiding from the mind, hiding from the beast that self has created. So, when you are suffering from schizophrenia, you are very deluded. You are deluded to believe your own mind. You are deluded to believe the reality of the matrix of your own mind, the matrix of self, the matrix of your own mind, which is just, mirrors and smoke and mirrors, you might say. It is just dead ends. It is just personalities and polarities and friction and noise and conspiracies and thought patterns and paranoia. It is not real. It is just a circus, shortcuts, paranoia, matrix going on in the mind of splitting self into new selves and having multiple personalities and not living real and physical, being drained and being locked out of the physical, of the real, tangible flesh, as self, as the human being. So to explain to a schizophrenic that how he or she is schizophrenic is not an easy thing to do at all, because that individual is very ingrained and occupied with the pictures in the mind, little box within the little box within the little box within the labyrinth of mind, and occupied and kept entertained and brainwashed by TV, Facebook, whatever, conspiracies and entertainment and desires and quick fixes, addictions. That is what keeps the schizophrenic locked away from solutions. The pictures, the beliefs, the feel-goods, the feel-lows, the polarities, the self-pity, the blame, the anger, the paranoia, all of it. It is just bling, 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 up in the head, up in the mind. When sanity, when groundedness, when stability, when sanity and life is here, is with work, is with physical feeling self, with breath. Yeah, breath. Breath stops the thoughts, of the ego thoughts. Breathing, a consistent awareness of breath, shortcuts the egoistic, greedy, and destructive thoughts. Stability as breath is a very key point. And I can recommend to breathe 1, 2, 3, 4 in, 1, 2, 3, 4 hold, 1, 2, 3, 4 out. One, two, three, four in, 1, 2, 3, 4 hold, 1, 2, 3, 4 out, 1, 2, 3, 4 hold. If force too much, try with 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This to keep a rhythm, to keep a pace, to form a rhythm with self, to find that balance with self, with breathing. Yeah. So that's a very key point about finding a stability point, finding sanity, starting with what one know is helpful, which is breath, which is self-trust, which is obviously a point of great relief. Stability and awareness as breath is a very good starting point. Breathe 1, 2, 3, 4, or just 1, 2, 3. Breathe 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Out, in and out, hold and hold. So today doctors are not giving patients, schizophrenic patients, the full picture, because obviously they are living in a sort of a Freud old bubble, many of them, because they don't know better. Modern day doctor schooling, psychiatry, psychology schooling doesn't know better actually. And if they do, they might be scared to say it, and if they dare to say it, they are called whistleblowers, and they are made out of mockery, and they are made into martyrs, and they're made into say they are made into the bad guy because they call out the old science that is no longer correct, which is that doctors and psychiatrists today work, to my experience, almost exclusively with the symptoms, the voices, the addictions, the depression, the surface things, not the deeper layered origin. So this is a call for anybody who really wants to know and learn schizophrenia, understand self, to be able to understand the self, to be able to deal with self, to work with self in own tempo, to work with self, to work with structure, with resonance, with expression, with life of self. I know there are many people out there who wants to learn to understand and grasp their schizophrenia. And I'm more than willing to explain to you in detail how the whole schizophrenia operates. So, once again, schizophrenia is that split of mind. It might split itself into 2 or 3 or 4 mind units that is governed by the supreme mind unit of self. And within these new ice boxes, this new mind unit, these new boxes, mind units, there are personalities and personality platforms by the dozens. And then you have it going on like a Game of Thrones in the head, in the mind. So, to come to terms with this, I used self-forgiveness to totally embrace myself. I embraced myself, I forgive myself, and really get to the bottom of me, to get to the deep, deep, deep down bottom of who I am, of what I am as existence. What made me? Why am I here? Why are we living in this chaos of a world? Why all this despair? Why all this chaos? Why is the biggest income of money made from war and prostitution and suffering and gambling? Why is the most money created from war and suffering and death? Well, you might look at the schizophrenic, for instance. Nasty backshots in the head. We all have nasty backshots in the head. You don't have to be a schizophrenic to have nasty backshots in the head. A little demon saying, she's so ugly, he's so dumb, fuck off, you bitch. Nasty voices in the head, we all have experienced that. And these nasty backshots, these nasty voices, they do fucking play out. They have an effect. and it's you and it's my responsibility to deal with such voices, to change the larger system around it, which is obviously the income money of war, the income money of death, of sex industry and all that, generating money in the capitalistic system, because we don't dare to face our inner demons, because we don't dare to face and forgive and embrace our inner demons that are locking us away from real life, that are keeping us slave by this, she's a bitch, he's a fucking asshole, voice in the head that we hear whenever they just pop up from nowhere, that we hear, that are bothering, that are disturbing, that are not nice, and we hear them, and even though we can breathe all we like, but they still may pop up. And those voices, those concerns, that standing is playing out in the world. So we can blame the bankers or the oil industry or the war machinery or whatever we point finger at. It is all rooted back at self. Abracadabra. So I'm here to work on schizophrenia and mental illness, to expose mental illness, to expose schizophrenia as myself, and to, literally try to find a ground where I can stand and say, I've solved schizophrenia for reals. I know it, like in the back of my hand. I know it. I know schizophrenia. And that is something that I'm proud of. And that is something that I've learned from walking my Destiny I process for 6 years. And I welcome you to join me with debating schizophrenia, talking about mental illness, how we can sort this out, how can we make a better life for millions of people out there who are suffering from everything from nasty baxes in the head to more severe paranoia and anxiety and so on, addictions and all that. We must be there for each other. Let's work together and cooperate and find solutions. My solution have been self-forgiveness. More than anything else, forgiving myself, slowing down, finding the self-honesty, seeing that I'm able, and working with myself. I welcome you to join me, to please share this video near and far, and I'll see you around.